Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look at the Shadow Salamence in the Jungle Cup. You might expect me to lose all the games now with it, but I honestly climbed with it, which is kind of funny. Of course, today we're going to have the Community Day Classic, and that's exactly why I kind of want to showcase this Pokemon here today. But, of course, if you want to support the channel, feel free to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you're new here, I would really appreciate it. But let's take a look at the team. The team is kind of funny, I guess. Let's talk a little bit first about the issues with the Salamence. First issue, you don't have a bait move. Like, if you land a charge move, it's going to definitely hurt quite a bit. It's either going to be a Stab Shadow Outrage, or it's going to be a Hydro Pump. But, so, you kind of want to play around it a little bit, and here we're going to see a little bit of a benefit of this Pokemon, the flying typing, and also the fast move damage. You see on the right side, my IV spread is not meant to be for Great League. This IV spread is meant to be for the Open Master League, which I might going to power this Pokemon up eventually. Maybe when it's going to be a little bit better though. But here we're going to see already the opponent had enough. We were able to farm down. We can win the first game. We had some insane games with this Pokemon, I have to say that. But yeah, basically we're going to have the Say-Stop of the Quagsire. You have the lead of the Steelix. Steelix is going to be great against other Dragon-type Pokemon. Yes, you have Dragon Tail, but you're still going to be insanely squishy. So like an Altaria is quite a loss for you as a Salamence. But still, like 2-shield Salamence is kind of what you want to go for. Or if you have like a 1-0 shield advantage, if you can go for an Outrage later on, if you farm something down basically, that's kind of great for you as well. Here we were able to still go for another Stone Edge with the Quagsire, and we decided to go for Quagsire as my Say-Stop over like something like a Whiscash or something like a Swampert for a good reason, because basically, this team, you have a lead loss against Mud Boys. Salamence is great against Mud Boys. Your Say-Stop is going to be the Quagsire. The benefit of Quagsire is, if you encounter a Whiscash in the lead, you're going to still be able to outspeed them to the first charge move, denying basically the advantage that the opponent gets from you swapping out, losing a turn with that, because you need 4 fast moves for your Aqua Tail, the opponent needs 5 fast moves for the Mud Bomb, and so that kind of helps you out a little bit. Also, coverage is just way better for like other Flying-type Pokemon. You have a lead that beats Flying-type Pokemon, as you can see here right now, and you have a Say-Stop that has Stone Edge. So, this team was actually kind of amazing. What we have here is a Steelix in the lead. We have to stay in here. I think I make a little bit of a silly play here, which is not even a bad play. I decided to go for the Psychic Fangs here, which is going to drop the opponent's defense guaranteed. Why did I do this? Honestly, because I didn't pay attention, I watched the EOIC at the same time, but otherwise, it also kind of helps you out with this matchup, because 2 crunches are not enough to knock out another Steelix basically, so you have to always go for another charge move anyway. So why not go for a charge move that is going to drop the defense already and makes it a little bit easier to knock them out earlier on. As you can see here, this helped us out quite a bit, allowing us to just knock them out with the next crunch as they're double debuffed anyway, allowing us to align ourselves as the opponent goes into an Altaria. This seems to be a silly play to go into your Mudboy, but this is exactly why you want to have a Quagsire. Shadow Quagsire preferred over the normal one. Normal one works out well for you as well, but again, I would not really recommend you to copy the team. Of course, Salamence is not the best Pokemon ever. Go for Shadow Dragonite, go for your Altaria, and this team is amazing to play, so this is what I kind of would recommend you if you want to try out this team. Just don't go for Salamence, go for Altaria. Like, I don't think you clicked on the video here and thinking like, oh yeah, Salamence is going to be the best Pokemon ever, but it still did something. Like, this Pokemon still had some quite cool games here, which you're gonna take a look at as well. But honestly, Quagsire was like most likely the MVP of this team. Like, this thing is just so spammy, so overpowered. Look at this, Clodsire, Big Brother, going to get knocked out pretty easily here. Now it's going to be an Altaria that we can still go ahead and go into the Steelix, and the opponent has a ton of energy, so I'm forced to let this move go through. We have to see here if we can still Dragon Tail them down. Of course, we are super effective, but the opponent as well. And you see already how close it is, even though we had more health than the opponent. Next opponent, we're going to see the Skarmory in the lead. This is exactly where we want to face it. We have 2 Pokemon that are going to be great against, and we have 1 Pokemon that's going to lose against it. If you take a look at the Salamence, the only real way to use this Pokemon is in the 2-shield scenario, because you don't have a bait, and you kinda do a ton of damage with your fast move, so you actually have quite a lot of matchups for this Pokemon that can win. For example, Vigoroth, for example, Whiscash, for example, Swampert, for example, sometimes Quagsire, depends kinda on it. But so you kind of want to get rid of everything else, and you kind of want to have a lead that's kind of weak against it, so you might be able to bait them out. Here we're going to be able to get rid of the Skarmory. A lot of times Skarmory is paired with a Mud Boy, and so we can hope for that, but they swapping out here into the Altaria should have went way faster for a charge move here, by the way. This was kind of silly for me to go for the Psychic Fangs now, as I would have done more damage against them. And now I'm forced to swap out into my Salamence, which is not really ideal, as the opponent can go ahead and go for a Sky Attack. This is going to be able to, yeah, drop us, like lose a shield basically for us. As we're going to have a Dragonite in the back, we just don't really have a chance here. I was hoping I can still go for the Outrage. We were super close at getting there, but it was just not really it. If we got the Outrage done, we maybe still had a chance of winning this game with the very fast Awkward Tails, but like this, we're going to forfeit. Next opponent coming through. Horrible lead, we can swap out, they're gonna swap into their Dragonite, we can go for the bait because they don't want to get hit by a Stone Edge. But do they know that we only need 3 more fast moves to go for another Stone Edge? Did you know that? I did know that, and so we can go ahead and go for that Stone Edge right now. But I guess the opponent did not know that, and so we can win this game fairly easily as the opponent decides to forfeit. Next one coming up, we're going to have a Dragonite in the lead against us, which is amazing. They swap out into the Vigoroth, allowing us to go into our own Salamence, and we can try to go ahead and try to go just for the full farm down. You have to be a little bit quick here because you have to always use basically 2 shields. You're going to get 1 shield back anyway because there's no Pokemon in this meta that could take an Outrage or like a Hydro Pump from this Pokemon. Like even the Skarmory, like a Hydro Pump going to do a ton of damage. You can also go for Fire Blast on this thing if you want to have rather some fire damage. I just went for what was really recommended. I think fire damage might be a little bit better. But here we're gonna see already how much damage an Outrage can do, which I did not expect at all. But yeah, that's kind of great for us, I would say. We can swap into our Steelix. We can still take 1 Earthquake. I rather would go, by the way, for the normal Steelix or the Shadow for this team because you already have a very squishy Pokemon in the back. I rather take some charge moves, as you can see here, with our Steelix, which is going to help us out quite a bit. And so, now we can go ahead and go into our Salamence, try to farm them down, and we're going to easily win this game. Next one coming up, Mantine in the lead. You kind of have to hope that they don't have Water Pulse. Water Pulse Mantine would be kind of horrific for you. But as you can see here, the opponent stops into the Vigoroth. We were a little bit late, but hopefully it's still going to be fine. Again, like Dragon Tail from the Steelix still going to chunk quite a bit as well. And they decide to go for the Rock Side. Really not necessary. Like if you ever take a look at the stats of Salamence, like this thing is literally glass. Like it is so squishy already. And then we have the Shadow variant. Body Slam kind of knocks it out from full health HP anyway, so no reason to go for the Rock Slide. But here in comes the Mantine, and what I said before, you basically lose a shield, but you can realign all the time, and you're still gonna get a shield back anyway because the Outrage is just outrageous. We're going to be able to swap out here actually, which is kind of great, as we were able to keep an Outrage for hopefully later on. But as you can see, they're gonna go into their own Whiscash, and this is actually kinda okay. They have to go for a Scald, but also they're Shadow, so they're definitely going to knock me out, but also they're going to be now in a range where Awkward Tail is going to be enough to knock them out. Reason for this, debuff, Shadow, it's going to do a ton of damage, especially because we are both Shadow, and so I am fine. And as soon as I get the shield here, which I sadly don't, I would be fine to go for 1 Outrage, but I can still go for a Stone Edge. Please shield, I want to get the Outrage done. Please shield here. They didn't. I want to see the Outrage, but it's fine. Let's take a look at the next opponent. Against Pedoman here, he actually, I think, hit several times already rank 1 in the world as well, like one of the best players in the world. I think he's currently at EYC as well, so definitely interesting to battle them here. We're going to have the Whimsicott. We had like a lot of teams from him already on this channel. Very good player from Spain. We're going to take a look here. We're going to be able to go for the Psychic Fangs. We have to stay in here, of course. Like, look at our backline. We have a Pokemon that is double weak to grass, and we have a Pokemon that is going to be weak against any Fairy-type Pokemon. So, Whimsicott can be a little bit of a trickier one, but what we can do here with this matchup is you can just go for the Psychic Fangs. You can try to get them low, and so it's not the worst one. At least we're going to have it here on the lead, which is going to be way better for us, as we can even take quite a lot of charge moves, which is kind of cool. But they're going to be able to go for a charge move now, and they can still survive 1 more fast move of myself there. They have Seed Bomb, which is a little bit annoying. I'm not too sure if it really helped or if it was worse for us, but like Seed Bomb is going to be very, very fast reached here for them, which is kind of awkward for our Quagsire, but at least we can farm them down. In comes the Talonflame, and I just go for a ballsy play and go for the Stone Edge, because I was thinking, like, they know that they can survive an Awkward Tail, but they decide to use a shield here. Yeah, and now you're gonna go for another ballsy play, which just did not really work out for me either. I tried to go for the full farm down here with my own Salamence. They survive with 1 HP. And now it kind of goes downhill here because, yeah, I just played it a little bit risky because for no reason at all. I just wanted to have like some fun and try to hit a Stone Edge. I thought that they would have Charizard in the back, to be fair. But they're going to have here in the back the Lantern, and so we're sadly going to lose as they can farm us all the way down. We can have to take 2 Surfs here, which we're not going to be able to do because the opponent still has a move start with the Talon Flame. So good game there. If I just went for the Awkward Tail spam, I would have easily won this game, but I didn't, just for some fun. But it is what it is. Let's move on to the next opponent. Next one coming up, we're going to have here the Scamry against us. This is going to be a great one for us as we can try to go for some crunch damage. It's going to be definitely the best matchup that we could have here for this team. Still, Quagsire is still kind of fine against Scamry as you can resist the fast move and you can get to those Awkward Tails fairly fast. But as you can see, we don't get the debuff, kind of unfortunate, but we can still go for another crunch afterwards, hopefully farming them down as well. But I think this was a game where I made a little bit of a mistake. I think, let's see, maybe, I'm not too sure, like, I don't know if it's even matters or anything. There was definitely a game, I think it was this one, yeah. I tried to go for this move here, and I thought this would knock them out, but it actually turns out it doesn't, and then decide to swap out, and I catch a move, which I didn't want to do. And so I don't think, I don't know if it matters, I don't know if we win this game, I can't remember it, but I remember this play at least. And so if I stayed in, I would have been better off, because now I have like way less health that I would have usually, but it is what it is. We can still go for some Awkward Tails here, so it's not the worst play for me either. But just interesting to see. Luckily, they didn't go for the Brave right there, though. So, in comes another charge move from the opponent. It's going to be the Mud Bomb. Great for us, because this means they're going to go for another charge move kind of straight away. And we have to hope that the Shadow Salamence can basically win this game for us. In comes the Clodsire. I swap out because I need to try to drop the defense here with the Psychic Fangs, but I decide to go for no shield. If it's an Earthquake, gonna knock me out, but it's going to be a double resisted Stone Edge doing basically no damage, and this is going to be lovely. As the opponent decides to even no shield this one, we're gonna do more damage against them, which is going to be great. And we can reach another one, dropping the defense basically further from the opponent. And now look at the Dragon Tail damage from our Salamence that is coming in. If we can even see it, they're most likely going to swap out after this one, I would imagine. Let's see, Stone Edge coming through. They decide to swap out here. We can farm them down and easily win this game. Next opponent, second to last for today, we're going to encounter the Quagsire in Elite, which is actually kind of unfortunate. But the opponent makes an interesting play here if they even have Awkward Tail. Like, if you have Awkward Tail, you should go straight for it. But maybe they're running Mud Bomb. Who knows? We're going to find out fairly soon, but we were able to basically negate the drop that we had. And yes, they're running Mud Bomb, so they had basically no chance there in general. But they're going to swap onto a Pokemon, which I didn't see which one it was. It was a Mantine here, which is a little bit annoying. But we can still try our best here to try to get some shields maybe, because Stone Edge, of course, would hurt quite a bit, and so they're most likely expected I would go for a Stone Edge. So I decided to go for a bait, and the cool thing is you get so fast to a Stone Edge after an Awkward Tail because you only need like 3 extra fast moves total, and as we overfarmed anyway, we can go basically straight for one, getting both shields. If shields are down, most likely Salamence can go to town, and that's exactly what we're going to hope for. I hope they also don't have Awkward Pulse here, Water Pulse here, which is not going to be the case for them, which is going to be great for me, because now we can go for a Crunch. The Crunch is going to connect, and we're hopefully going to be able to farm them down. They decide to swap out, which is a little bit annoying. I have to keep my shield for my Salamence. There's no way for me to win if I don't have shields on Salamence. But as you can see, the opponent goes for another charge move. It could be the Stone Edge, but I decide to go for the no shield. It is a Mud Bomb and still did a chunk of damage here. Look at this, it's a double resisted Mud Bomb. But we see they have a Mandibuzz in the back, and this is lovely. As Outrage is going to connect here, this is going to do massive damage. Like, I've seen super effective moves do like half of that against the Mandibuzz, but here we were able to do so much damage against them. They swap out into their into their Mantine, totally fine. They can knock me out, doesn't matter, I can farm them all the way down. With my Steelix, I can still go for a Crunch, and this is going to be a good game there. What a game. The Outrage did so much damage, holy hell. Moving on. Final game for today, an amazing lead for our Steelix. We're gonna see the Scamry in the lead, which is a very solid Pokemon for sure, but I can overfarm by a little bit. I always would kind of recommend you to overfarm with your Steelix. You're not threatened by any of the charge moves from the opponent. If they want to swap out after their Crunch, you can still go ahead, and after our Crunch, of course, we can still go ahead and go for a Psychic Fangs to drop the opponent's defense, and this allows us to go into our Salamence, and look at the damage output. That is massive. They go for the Body Slam, but it doesn't even help them. We can just farm them down before they can even go for anything else, and we can align ourselves again, which is going to be amazing for me. I have to let this move go through because, like, yeah, this is not a great matchup. They can, of course, knock us out here as we are very, very thin in terms of our defense stat. But we can see them mostly going for a Brave Bird here and trying to swap out afterwards. Let's take a look at this. It's going to be just a Sky Attack, even better for us, as we can try to reach for that crunch. This might take the knockout against the opponent. We have to see here. It is going to be able to get the shield against them, so they might be weak against me in the back, but I cannot really care right now. I have to kind of keep this all around. It's going to be a Whiscash in the back, which is going to be an interesting one because we can drop their defense, and this is going to be our only way to victory here if we can still knock them out here with 2 Awkward Tails. Let's see, the opponent let this first move go through, which might be a mistake by them because if they would get the debuff here, they might be easily able to survive another one, and they go for the Mud Bomb instead. I overfarm by maybe a little bit too much, but I expect that they would go ahead and basically let the next move go through anyway, and so I'd rather have some extra energy for the Skarmory than going to knock them out and they still have a shield, and so we're going to still have quite a lot of energy. We can go for 1 Awkward Tail. Can we reach the final one in time? We have to see here. The Awkward Tail coming through. Can we still get it? We can still get it off, and so we can knock them out and win the final battle. Honestly, this team was amazing. It worked out super well for me. I climbed up some decent points here even before I hit, of course, the expert rank, which you saw yesterday and also on the screen right now if you haven't seen the video. Check it out. I hope you have a great Community Day Classic, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.